What's up, YouTube? Lots of new changes for you today. The last video you saw me aquascaping and cleaning out the 20 gallon. This is what you're looking at now. Nothing's changed here much, except I wanted to note that all the little plants that I planted around this little rock garden here, someone ate them. By the next morning they were all gone. The only survivor here is way up in the corner. And I've since planted that one one additional time, and it ended up back here again. So I'm not exactly sure who's doing it, who's eating them. I'm pretty sure it's the pleco. But yeah, planted or live plants don't seem to work so well in this aquarium yet. I think with the 55 gallon I'm planning on making, I'm not going to have any plecos in there, because I do believe he was the culprit. The only other thing I can think of is the goldfish, because they like dig stuff up, but I can't imagine them eating the plants. Maybe a little bit, but not completely consuming them. So that's that for the 20 gallon. Pretty much everything's doing good there. And as for the 10 gallon aquarium, I've since removed the bamboo plants I had in here from my buddy's yard. They were just kind of dying and not really doing so hot, and I don't really seem to need them. I was worried mainly about having the guppy fry giving them some protection against the other guppies, but the guppies really don't seem to put up much chase or try to attack them or eat them. They might kind of dart at them for a quick second, but then give up because it's too much work. Other than that, recently I did get 10 ghost shrimp. I had ghost shrimp in here for a while before, but they all seemed to mysteriously die one by one, and I was kind of perplexed as to why they were dying. But I've since gotten more, and I think I figured out how to keep them alive this time. Also, with getting them, I got 2 pregnant ones. This one here, it's got a bunch of eggs under her. Let's see if we can see it there. Yeah, you can kind of see the eggs there under her belly. There's another one with eggs. I'm not sure where she is at the moment, but there are 2 with eggs. Other than that, I did get 2 snails, apple snails, or mystery snails is how they were advertised at PetSmart. There's one there, and I've got a yellow one. He's actually right there. It's kind of hard to see him, but he's a little bit bigger than the other one. I believe what was killing the shrimp was, what I've been reading online is copper is poisonous to them. And I've been adding this Flourish, which is an iron supplement for the plants. And it's not really descriptive on how much to add and when to add it. It kind of just says to add it when the plants look like they're suffering from yellow leaves and other such things, which would indicate an iron deficiency. Well, I was adding this maybe a few drops every day, actually probably more than a few drops every day, but adding it quite frequently. And I think that's what ultimately was starting to kill the shrimp, because as soon as I started adding that more and more and more, the shrimp started dying off more and more. So I added the shrimp. As soon as I added the shrimp, the next morning there was one dead one. And so I did almost a 50% water change on it, and I haven't added any more of this since. And they seem to be doing okay, although actually I think that's the mother of the eggs there, and she appears to be dead. So that's not good. Obviously maybe I've got something else going on, or maybe there's still too much iron in it. So that's kind of discerning there. I'm probably going to end up doing another water change tonight then, since that one seems to be dead, and that's kind of upsetting. Other than that, I can't seem to think of why my ghost shrimp are dying. I mean, I eliminate the iron, or I mean not the iron, sorry, the copper in it, and that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I've changed, other than the CO2, which is the same. I added this little collector here. So basically, I'll shake it up to show you. You get a little CO2 going through the tube. There it goes, it bubbles up, collects under this little cap, and I glued it to the suction cup. And it just collects in there, and then the CO2 diffuses in the water over time. As far as I've read and looked online, there's nothing about CO2 really that would affect the shrimp. The only thing that you can have problems with CO2 is that at night you might get an over or too much CO2 with the plants generating CO2 at night also when the lights go off. But I've got the bubbles here to create oxygen, so that counteracts the fact I might have too much CO2 going on. So that's the only thing I can think of, is that there's too much copper in there somehow or other from this iron supplement. But I'm not really sure. I've also wrapped a little breeder net around the filter intakes so that the little shrimp fry don't get sucked into there. And I've turned down the suction on the filter a little bit. Also, you can see little white rocks there. That's a shell I got from the beach about a year ago that I crushed up, sprinkled a little bit into the gravel there, and I also put some in the back of the hang on the back filter. So that seems to be bringing up my pH. My pH level was up here. It was like really yellow, almost orange, and ideally I want it to be somewhat neutral. And since I've taken out the bamboo plants and added the crushed up shell in the filter, it seems to be coming down. It's more towards 6.4 or 6.6 there. I need to test it again soon to see if it's coming down anymore. But like everyone says on the internet, a stable pH level is better than a fluctuating one, and it's still within the range of the card here, so I'm not too worried about the pH that much. And since it's getting closer to neutral, it seems to be doing a little better. So yeah, now I've got 3 snails in here. They seem to be eating the algae off a little bit better, keeping track with that. I think a lot of my algae problem too was adding too much of this flourish. So it's a learning process. Things are getting better. I'm really upset now that I see, after starting filming this, that there's a dead ghost shrimp that had a whole bunch of eggs under its belly, and now I'm not going to have those, and I hope no more die. Like I said, I'll do another water change tonight and see where we're at. But just wanted to make a quick update video. That's what I got going on now. Any advice you guys got about why my ghost shrimp are dying? Anything you've learned about the whole copper thing and copper being poisonous to them? Or I've heard pH level they need a certain amount of pH for their exoskeletons, their shells, and hard water, soft water, whatever, for rebuilding their shells. Same with the snails. I don't know. I haven't really kept many invertebrates, and I'm just starting to do that, and it seems like so far I've not had a whole lot of success. So any advice you guys have about that, or anything you see that's a red flag that what I'm doing, please let me know in the comments below. So yeah, that's it. That's just a basic update of what I got going on today. Hopefully things start to balance out in this aquarium, and I'll keep you guys updated on what happens in the future with the ghost shrimp. Fingers crossed that they don't die, because I like them. I love watching the little ghost shrimp. And ideally, if I had I got the guppies breeding just fine. The guppies are doing good. If I had shrimp to breed also to feed to this guy here, he loves the ghost shrimp and he loves the guppies. If I put guppies or ghost shrimp in this tank, they're gone within minutes. He just loves finding them and eating them. So that's it for today. So I took the dead ghost shrimp out of the aquarium, the pregnant one, and I found the eggs. Let me focus here. Let me turn the light on also. So I got the eggs here in this little bottle. I'm going to hang this on the side. I've got little holes drilled in it just for water flow. I'm not too not thinking too optimistic about how this is going to work, but I guess it's worth a shot to try to save the eggs. I'm going to hang this on the side here with some tape and see if they hatch. If not, you know, no big deal, I guess. It's worth a shot. Before I do that, I'm going to do another water change with the old siphon here. I'm going to get down in the gravel and see if I can't get some excess copper or nutrients or whatever. I don't know. I just, more and more I hear online, water change, water change, water change. If you got problems, change the water. So that's what I'm doing. And hopefully it works out good and the ghost shrimp don't die. Well, I'm getting a lot of crap coming out of the gravel, and that's over in the spot here that doesn't have so much decoration or rocks, so I don't know, better to play safe than sorry. I'm just gonna get rid of all these rocks. I'm gonna pull everything out of here. I'm gonna do a thorough cleaning of the gravel and everything. Do my best not to suck up any fry or shrimp, although I think I might have got one shrimp in here already. I'm not sure. I saw him go up in the tube and I quickly pinched off the hose and then pulled the siphon out. And now that I'm looking here, I don't think he's in here. I think I was just seeing things, so that's good. I don't have to fish him out of here. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to pull all this out. I'm going to do a thorough cleaning. I'm going to basically start fresh. This is going to be another extreme water change, and hopefully that'll do the trick, 'cause something's up with this tank. I gotta say, keeping a small tank is a lot harder than keeping a larger tank, even with the 20 gallon compared to the 10 gallon. The 20 gallon I haven't had any problems with at all. Although I haven't been able to keep any small fish or shrimp in here because of the biker. He likes to eat them. And all the other fish in here are pretty hardy, but I've had 50 gallon tanks, 30 gallon tanks, 75 gallon tanks, and never had as much problems or as much like trying to figure out what's going on with the tank than when I have this 10 gallon tank. And I've got to say that if you want to get some experience right quick and learn how to, you know, keep track of your water chemistry and make sure everything's running right, go with a small tank. It'll teach you everything you need to learn. And I'm learning that the hard way. So I'll get back at you in a few seconds here once I do the rest of the sucking up of the gravel and cleaning out this tank. So there it is. Probably about if you consider the gravel, about a 50% water change there. A lot of crap came out of there. It's pretty bad. So I'll go ahead and get some new water ready. Put all the rocks back in. I got a little rough with the snail there, but I think he's doing alright. I'm not too worried about that. And hopefully the water change is going to help. Like I said, fingers crossed, no more dead ghost shrimp. Hopefully I figure this out. And also, while I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and scrub off the algae that was hard to get scrubbed off when the rocks were in there. You can see that there. And get as much of that out of there as I can. Now this is kind of weird. This is the pH test of the water straight out of the tap. And it's pretty high, it looks like. Usually I'm used to seeing yellow out of the fish tank. And I've done quite a few water changes, and still it's way up in the, at least the 6.0 or 6.4, and this is reading way down here somewhere. So I'm going to add the dechlor, or the water conditioner, to take the chlorine and heavy metals out and test it again and see what happens. It's kind of a little experiment just to see how the different chemicals affect the water. Doesn't seem to change too much. Alright, so the rocks are back in, everything's back in order. Water's been changed. Pretty close to a 50% water change. Now, before I was testing the pH level, and it was really, really blue, which is not what I've been seeing when I've been testing the water in the actual aquarium. So the water coming out of the tap is a lot different in the level of pH than what I've been seeing in the tanks. So since I just tested it coming out of the tap, I'm going to go ahead and test it again here and and see where we're at, see how much difference it can actually make even after a 50% water change. A little too much. This is always the hardest part, is getting the exact 5 milliliters. And that's pretty close right there, so we'll go ahead and test that. Add 3 drops. It's kind of hard to see there. And it looks like it's not quite as blue as it was before. I'm going to go maybe with 6.4, 6.6. Somewhere in there. Which is kind of surprising how much it changes from the tap water just to adding it to the aquarium. Now I'm going to go ahead and take these little eggs here, and I got a little piece of tape there. Basically I'm just going to tape to the side because I've got the holes drilled in the side. If I were to just float it in there like my original plan was, it'll eventually fill up with water and sink down to the bottom, and I don't necessarily want that, so I'll tape it up to the side here, and hopefully that'll hold it up there, and we'll see if these eggs hatch or if they're done. Hopefully they live. I don't know, we'll see. There, I've got it taped over the side. It's still above the water line, and that will sit down on there. And there's the eggs and whatever little bits left of the shrimp that I couldn't peel off. And there's the snail that I got into a little wrestling match with the gravel vacuum. And he seems to be doing just fine, so I'm not too worried about him at this point. So just give you a look at the 20-gallon aquarium again, just for fun. Everything's doing just peachy in there. The plant over here, that's just a Valentine's Day flower that I stuck in there because it didn't have a vase. So that's all that is, nothing permanent. And this is one of the bamboo shoots that I had in the 10-gallon that the roots dried out on. I'm just giving it a chance to soak up some water, and I think I'm going to plant that in some dirt. And maybe it'll make another appearance in an aquarium once it gets a chance to grow taller so the leaves can come out of the top of the water, but for now it's just going to be a terrestrial plant. And as a review for the update on the 10-gallon, I just did a 50% water change on it, did a gravel cleaning with the vacuum system, and also added the crushed up shell to the filter like I mentioned earlier, and sprinkled a little bit of that into the actual gravel, which is kind of hidden now, it's all buried. That seems to be the only thing that I have changed as far as my cleaning process or my maintenance process, and since doing that the pH level has risen from, and forgive me, I'm not too good on what acidic and alkaline is yet. I keep forgetting, and I have to constantly go and relearn from what's what, but it's getting more blue, it's getting more neutral, and that's what I'm looking for, and it seems to be fairly steady, not too many fluctuations there, so that's a plus. I also got the eggs in here, like I said, from the dead shrimp. Hopefully we'll see what happens with those. Hopefully they live. I'm not too hopeful, but just a little experiment. And other than that, well, I guess we'll see how the shrimp do. Hopefully they don't keep dying off like I've been having trouble with. And that's pretty much it for today. Stay tuned and we'll have more updates, and I'll let you know how the shrimp and all the other fish are doing.